Studio One Vintage Guitars, New Zealand's home of vintage guitars. My name is Nick Brightwell, and today we are doing a 2010 D18 Authentic. If you're aware, the Authentic series is, if you're not aware, the Authentic series was a series of Martin guitars that were essentially recreating what they made back in the day. So this is a 1937 recreation. So that meant they took a 37, an original 37, they copied it down to the finest detail and they recreated it. Now, these guitars are hugely popular. They are incredible instruments. I've personally got one in my collection at the moment. They are amazing. So we're going to do a comparison between this one and our two actual 37 D18s and see how it all goes. So we'll start off with a few Gs. Now, before I start, I'll just say that, so all these guitars are running 53 to 12 John Pierce phosphor bronze strings. These strings are a little bit older than the other ones. The other ones are brand new, essentially in the last week, and both guitars have been played a little bit. This guitar was restrung about a month ago, hasn't been played much. So relatively still new strings. So let's just have a listen. This is our 1937 D18 number 30. This is the one with the refin. And our recently acquired D18 1937 without a refinish, this is number 27. Now I'm going to go back to the Authentic. And the refin 1937. So, I think initially we all would agree that they all sound quite similar. They're obviously made out of the same materials. I will say the Authentic, really the only thing that stands out as different on that is the neck profile is slightly different. But I have found that across the Authentic range, which was, I don't know how many years, but I know they were making them in 06 and 010. So it seems they had different people working on the necks, so there's slightly different profiles. The one that I have at home is very similar to the original neck shape. The one that I have at home doesn't belong to me, but interestingly was the guitar picked out by Martin to take to the NAMM show that they started to, the first release of the Authentic. So, my impressions are you can hear the difference between the two originals. The refin is obviously enclosed the guitar a little bit and it doesn't breathe as much, but they obviously have a very similar sound. The almost all original is just is so open and vibrant, and really when you dig into it you can hear the guitar start to break up in a way. It likes it. So let's go back to the Authentic, because I think this makes probably a lot of people happy that their Authentic is reasonably close to an original. I think really what the Authentic series tells you is that once you've had this guitar, because this guitar is 13 years old now, what the Authentic tells you is that in 10, 20, 30 years time, these guitars will sound exceptionally good. So you don't have to get too wound up about these awesome originals being astronomically priced. You can go and find an Authentic. If this is the guitar you want, an Authentic is the way to go. And we just so happen to have 3 of them. I'm a devil sometimes. Okay, I'm going to do some finger picking. I'll do a bit of Doc for you. The unfinished. So, I think going from the Authentic to the unfinished 37, really I think what I hear in the Authentic is you're hearing a relatively new top. I don't know how much this Authentic has been played, but my impression is that it hasn't been played extensively, so it hasn't really been broken in. And something that I've heard from a classical master, the classical guitar is known to, say, appreciate as you play it more and more and more, and then they talk about at a certain point the instrument actually dies off. So really what they're talking about is you knock all the highs out of the top wood, and as you do that, you get an increased range, but in a way you lose that initial brilliance. So I think that's what you're hearing, that vintage sound is that you're hearing just really still relatively fresh Adirondack. You know, it's 20, maybe 20 years old compared to almost 100 years old. So there's a lot of vibrance, but what you're hearing when you, especially with the unfinned, the almost all original, is you're hearing all of that, all those years culminating in the guitar just being well blended together, you know, the glue and the wood, and it's also been played a lot, so it's got into a groove of how it should sound. I hear a slightly richer bass response in the Authentic as well. Once again, more younger wood. So I think what really at the end of the day what we've got here is the D18, this period of the D18 is one of the best eras or periods of D18s, and the Authentic is an incredible recreation, but to own an original is just something a little bit more, and that's really the age of the instrument. Hopefully some of you out there are really passionate about this, and if you have any information that you'd like to share with us or highlight anything interesting, please let us know. I'm learning about all of this stuff as I go. It's only been a couple of years that I've really been interested in the finer details of when guitars were made and how they were made, but I gauge all of this against my own Martin that I've had for 15 years, and I've played that extensively, and it's well played in. So I started with a great Martin, and now I'm measuring all these other ones and seeing what they do and learning more and more about them. So once again, with Studio One Vintage Guitars, all 3 of these guitars that I've got in this shot right now are for sale. So if you're interested, get in touch with us. We already have interest on the unfinished 37. If you'd like as well, I can send through a comparison of the Authentic so you can pick up the best one. I will just quickly mention we have a competition going on, if you haven't already heard, and essentially buy something from us, like us on Instagram or YouTube, and you'll go in the draw to win it. Very good guitar. We'll ship it all over the world. So thank you very much. I hope this has been has been educational or helped you in some way. And yeah, if you want any more content from us, let us know. Cheers.